Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Marvel Movie Mondays, the show where we go over the MCU movies all in the timeline. We go through all the phases. We're coming up to phase 6 now, and we want to reflect and make sure that we've watched everything up to this point. This is the first time a lot of these movies for Anthony, and we are now ending phase 2. We've made it to Avengers: Age of Ultron, so stay tuned. All right, we're talking Avengers: Age of Ultron, the second Avengers movie. This movie is awesome and highly, highly, highly underrated. I think this is one of the better MCU movies, and I think that it got too much flack. And there's this giant resurgence of people online coming out being like, actually, this movie is awesome and kicks ass. So, Avengers: Age of Ultron. This was your first time watching it?
This was actually my first time watching this movie.
Awesome.
So this one was not hard to follow, but I had to actually follow it.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on in this film. Obviously, it picks up in a different country. We've got the Avengers fighting off the last remnants of Hydra, basically, and trying to retrieve the Loki's scepter. So, which actually has one of the Infinity Stones in it. And so amongst this, there's this conflict between the team, especially with Tony Stark, where he is trying to make, these new discoveries on his own while still being a part of the team. And it's not very, he kind of like strays from being team oriented to being kind of just like a little bit more like secretive, like he's pulling some government crap, so
Well, we know Tony, he's egotistical, so
Yeah.
he gets the mind gets the best of him, and his ego gets the best of him, honestly.
Yeah, so he ends up creating the big bad in this movie, Ultron, the AI presence, come to life, basically. And he is awesome. A lot of people know him from The Office as Robert California. And it's
Mr. James Spader.
it's so awesome. Like just to hear his voice. It was funny because when I was rewatching this movie, Erica was cooking in the kitchen and she came by and she was just like, "Is that Robert California?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He has a very distinct voice and it's very awesome. And I think that he does a fantastic, phenomenal job as Ultron. And just the amount of lines and the way that he reads them are delivered so well and so menacing.
Yeah, especially when you see him for the first time. He puts a shroud over himself. He's in the church, and he meets Petra, which is Quicksilver, and
Wanda,
which is Scarlet Witch, and they meet for the first time because this is apparently where the bombings happened and when they got captured. Because this literally just takes place after they found out about Hydra and all that, and it really takes off after the end of the Winter Soldier when you see both of them as subjects that are in cages.
Yep. Yeah, so you get that scene, and basically they have kind of a moment with Ultron where they kind of sympathize with each other in their beliefs of like what needs to be done. Basically, coming to the consensus, that Iron Man needs to be stopped more than anyone else, and that the Avengers are a plague amongst humanity. According to Ultron, because he's definitely against the Avengers and he's like he wants to destroy the world, but it's like his own agendas. He thinks that humankind is the plague, basically. That's what it comes down to, and we get this whole story unfolding. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is when Ultron first comes out as the test robot, where he uploads himself into the like Iron Man armor, and he's just walking out, oil dripping like blood, and he has his whole speech to the Avengers, and then he attacks them. They kill him. As he's dying, he quotes Pinocchio, and I think that is like just menacing because he's just like, "I've got no strings to hold me down." There
Yeah.
are no strings on me.
Yeah. And there's it's funny because I learned that quote because in Marvel Snap, when you actually play him as a card, he goes, "There's no strings on me," and all his bots come out and go to every location in the game. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, this movie, I thought this movie was great. I thought the story elements and going into Ultron's thing, and then the birth of Vision, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Being he's the keeper of the Mind Stone. I just thought this movie just had a lot of cool moments. And I actually had a little it has some I would say moments of just chaos that happen. You have all these things that happen. I believe Ultron, when he's being conceived as the AI, doesn't he kill Jarvis?
He does. He completely obliterates Jarvis.
So therefore, then now then we get an introduction to Friday, right?
Yeah. So during the film, Tony kind of rebuilds Jarvis's like broken pieces, not completely, but enough, and then he eventually, upon the creation of Vision, he's not Ultron, he's not Jarvis, he's a combination of like this new AI technology based from Jarvis, which is Paul Bettany. And Paul Bettany actually plays Vision, which is cool too. And I think that's really cool. But then, he's got other AI to choose from, and he chooses Friday, and so we get Friday pretty much to the end of the Avengers series. So
I just thought that the end of Jarvis and then the beginnings of Friday. So I thought that was cool. There's like a lot of things in this movie. There's also just all the despair and hate and that Petra and Wanda are feeling, and Wanda kind of plays a huge role in this movie. She uses her spells to break the Avengers up by showing them their deepest fears, and Tony's being the one of them in the beginning, and then she slowly does it to all the Avengers, kind of like throwing them off. Like now they're all they're not really focused. They're all focused on their fears, and they want to find out like more things about them. You see the one with Thor. Thor really wants to find out because he says that Hemsworth tells him that you've failed us all. They all died. And then you have the one ending with Captain America seeing Peggy, when he was supposed to have her last dance and all that other stuff. So they see their fears. And I thought that was a really cool mix on how to split them up, and just tied the whole story in how it was told, and what Ultron's plans were of trying to like split them up so he can do his devious stuff.
Yeah. And it works pretty well. I mean, because he eventually gets to the point where they almost lose in this movie. They very much get close because he lifts the giant piece of earth out of the earth.
I thought that was really awesome, actually.
Awesome. And at a certain height, you drop that's global extinction. Like,
yeah,
that's huge. And especially propelling at a rate that it was gonna drop too. So they have to, evacuate the entire city, and they have to also create countermeasures for the catastrophe that could happen. And you got all of these. This is the part I love about this movie, is you have all of these different pieces from all of these different Avengers who get to have their moment of shining.
Yeah,
and all play their specific role in what to do in the situation. And it's really great because Tony's, on the inside, he's doing the mechanical technical work, while you have others being the brute force, and you have others saving the day and evacuating the citizens.
I know you even see Rhodey Rhodes, Iron Patriot, come, and he does his thing.
Yeah, there's so much that goes on.
And then
there's
there's those moments of sadness and stuff, like Petra, Quicksilver, makes like the ultimate sacrifice to protect a little child that Hawkeye is trying to get out of there, and I don't know if he dies, but he might come back, but I don't know, but they ship him off, so it's kind of like a sad moment in that movie.
Yeah. I also feel that that's bull. I feel like Quicksilver's way faster than that, and they just kind of did it for dramatic effect. And I think that's one of my biggest gripes of this movie is because I'm like, we've seen the introduction of Quicksilver in the X-Men also, and we saw him like in this movie. There's a part where when he first meets Claw like enters the room, barely moves to grab his gun, and he completely grabs the gun, unloads the clip with all the bullets lined up simultaneously, perfectly, and like not even a second has gone by. Like it's literally a blink, and you're telling me that he couldn't save that girl? Like, I'm sorry. I just there's a couple things like that that just bother me.
Yeah, yeah, there's little things like that, and I also wanted to know like more on Claw. Like, he loses his arm, but how did
Yeah.
he get his other arm? Like,
Oh, I mean,
I
like
guess that's what
you'll
probably comes
find
out.
out. Like
Okay,
he's not this. He comes back.
okay,
And yeah, he's such a huge character, and he's Andy Serkis.
yeah, he's Andy Serkis, and Andy Serkis is just good. He's a good actor.
He's the best. So yeah, this movie also has some really funny comedic elements in it. I really like the little, just the bonding of the team as well. Even though they do have their differences, they do share a lot of really great moments. Like in the beginning when they're fighting Hydra, and they what is it? Tony Stark says
Language.
yeah, Captain America says language, and then they circle back to that throughout the film, which is funny. You get a couple of scenes like where they're all having dinner, and just kind of hanging out, drinking, and they go to lift Thor's hammer, and it's just a funny moment.
Oh, I thought that was really, really cool and funny
Yeah.
too.
And you see Captain America like barely budget, and Thor's face is just like, what? Like,
Yeah, you have that cameo of Stan Lee, all the veterans. Like,
Yeah.
he goes, this. He has some sort of drink that he goes, this is not made for mortals, and then they drink it, and they're like, oh.
And then he's like
all
being
drunk.
carried out, and he's like,
Yeah.
Excelsior.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. We also have this like side thing with Bruce Banner and
Black Widow.
and
Yeah.
Natasha Romanoff. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I knew they were close, but I didn't know that like it kind of evolved in like them like they both think they're like outcasts, and you kind of like see some of Romanoff's background, like when she gets the spell casted on her by Scarlet Witch. You kind of see like a little bit of backstory on her,
Yeah.
and it kind of like makes that little fling make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it's definitely a new, interesting take. Obviously, for Hulk fans, we know that the Hulk is his love interest is Betty, and she hasn't been in the movies since the Incredible Hulk movie. But didn't see didn't see Black Widow becoming his love interest. I thought that was a very interesting like dynamic. It's new. It's definitely new. But it's not bad. It worked out. It works for this movie. I feel like it adds emotional depth. Also, speaking of the Hulk, like, this is cool. This is another project that we get to see Hulk be Hulk in, and that doesn't happen a whole lot in the MCU. So
He also takes like Quinjet or something and like disappears at the end.
yeah, so he disappears, and that's how we get to Thor Ragnarok.
Okay, I know. Okay,
Okay.
we'll get to that because I've seen Thor Ragnarok, but I didn't know why. I didn't know the reason why Hulk was like there.
Yeah, because he thinks, because he's an outcast, so he thinks he's just like, I want to live, like, he isolates himself. Also thought that was interesting upon rewatching, because I was like, can the Quinjet really like survive through space? Like,
I kind of wondered that too.
These are the thoughts here. So this movie's great. It's awesome. It juggles the characters pretty well balanced. I love the end with Vision and Ultron. I love it. Just the last conversation that they have, and he's just like, what Ultron says, like, you are so incredibly naive, and he's like, well, I was born yesterday.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought the whole thing with the Doctor creating that being Ultron was going to be his form, but it rebirthed Vision instead.
yeah. And Vision is just one of those characters that I love so much. I didn't know much about Vision before the MCU. Now I've grown to like absolutely love and care for this character so much. So, yeah. What would you give this movie?
This movie's pretty solid. I'd say I'd give this movie a 4. Where I'd give it, where I will knock it a little bit is I get this is normally how when characters are introduced to the MCU, some of them just get introduced and they don't have really a little backstory. So I kind of like want more sometimes,
Yeah.
especially as a viewer and not like a avid reader of the comics, knowing, okay, I know who Claw is. Like I've read about him. I know who he is. So, those little story gaps, I thought but other than that, I thought the story was it was well depicted in this movie. I thought the pacing was okay. The pacing is pretty good. It's got a medium rate as how the story is presented. So I thought that was good. And then, that's why I would give it a 4, most of it.
I agree with you as well. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 as well. I think that it does a lot of things right, does a few things wrong. I think it's underrated. I think its biggest problem is like I think it has severe pacing issues, where it has really high highs but like pretty consistent lows through the movie, and it's kind of just this filler episode, honestly, like between the beginning and the end of the movie. And ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, you'll get there. You'll feel like this is like a filler movie, for bridging the gap between these movies to Endgame.
I kind of see that forming because the last couple of movies kind of focus on Thanos finding these stones.
Yeah.
Like, Volstagg takes the one to the collector. We have Vision that's actually has a stone, and the other stone is on Xandar with Nova Prime.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And
Okay.
The stones are a key point to the whole Infinity Saga. So, that's fours across the board then.
Because you also see these end credit things which are wonderful in these phases. You see Thanos, so
yeah, this was the one where we get Thanos and he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself," and so that just propels this last phase of the Infinity Saga just full force. So it's good stuff. I'm excited for the next couple of Mondays because you're gonna see a lot of crazy shit.
I'm ready for it though.
That brings us to the end of the episode, everyone. So we are going to do a couple of trivia, and we're going to do some fun facts as well. Starting off with trivia for Anthony.
Let's see if I do better than I did last week.
Right. Name all of the Infinity Stones.
They're on the Thanos card, God, and Marvel Snap. I just can't remember them. One of them's the Mind Stone, obviously. One is the Power Stone. That's 2.
It's 2. You need 5.
I don't remember the name of the Red Stone, which is
6. Sorry.
The Red Stone that Volstagg brings to the collector from
Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, Thor: The Dark World. Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. Why can I never remember the name of it?
To be fair, I don't think they say the name of the stone.
Well, you know what I'm saying. The Red Stone.
Yeah.
Does that count?
No.
I know it doesn't count.
But I'll give it to you because they don't say what it.
Okay.
The stone is the reality.
So that's 3. Okay,
Yeah.
that's 3 guys. I don't know the other 2.
Okay. So
maybe because they properly aren't introduced and I just don't remember what they are. I should because I'm an idiot. I play that game all the time. I just don't remember
No,
them.
it's fair. You probably would only know a couple of them from the game. So it's the Space Stone, the Mind Stone, the
That's
Reality
right.
Stone, the Power Stone, the Time Stone, and the Soul Stone.
Yep.
All right. So, in what year did Steve Rogers turn into Captain America?
Wasn't it 1945 or 42?
Close. I mean, you're close. You're in there.
41?
Nope. Up.
44?
Nope. Down.
43?
Yes, 43.
Oh God, that was horrible. I'm sorry, guys.
It's fine. Let's see. What type of doctor is Doctor Strange? I know you haven't seen Doctor Strange yet, but you might know him from the games or the comics.
He's a brain surgeon.
Yeah, neurosurgeon.
A neurosurgeon, yeah. I knew it because I did see Doctor Strange. I forgot to tell you. I just don't remember it. I've seen it though. Really good movie too. We'll get to that one, but I have to rewatch it because I don't remember it.
What classic rock track plays at the beginning of Iron Man?
It's an AC/DC one.
It is
Thunderstruck, I believe.
Not Thunderstruck.
Shoot the Thrill.
Nope.
I don't remember.
It is Back in Black.
Yeah. So bad.
All right, one more.
Okay.
Which eye does Nick Fury wear his eye patch over? Attention to detail, folks. Attention to detail.
The right eye?
It is not the right eye. It's the left eye.
I'm so bad.
All right. So that was, good try.
Yeah, this was a horrible week, guys. I'm sorry.
Good try.
I failed. I think I think next week I need to quiz Calvin because it's been a while since he's gotten quizzed.
It has been a while. All right. So, fun fact time. Here we go. Scarlett Johansson was pregnant during filming. So, many of her scenes were scheduled earlier in the film before she began to show. To help hide her pregnancy later in filming, 3 stunt doubles were hired. This caused a lot of confusion amongst the other actors since, according to them, all of the stunt women looked very similar to Johansson. Chris Evans stated that it got to the point where he would say hello and start a conversation with one of them, only to realize midway that the person he was talking to wasn't Johansson. Ultimately, some scenes used CGI to hide Johansson's belly.
That's cool.
It's funny.
It is funny too.
Let's see. Because Ultron was 8 to 9 feet tall, the 5'10" James Spader had to wear an antenna, like a contraption made out of like thick wire with 2 red balls attached to the top that went up his entire back and 3 feet above his head. This was done so that the cast members that shared scenes with him would have a reference point for when his eyes, or like where his eyes would be. The 2 red balls represented the placement of Ultron's eyes. Elizabeth Olsen stated that this was actually distracting because Spader would be giving an intense performance, and out of instinct, she would look at him rather than the red balls. Much to everyone's amusement, whenever this happened, Aaron Taylor Johnson would yell, "Red balls!" look at the red balls, Lizzie, at her in order to get her to look in the right direction. So,
oh, that's hilarious. Because they had I'm sure back when they're doing early CG, they were probably trying to capture his red eyes or something.
They do all the mocap.
Yeah, all the mocap stuff, yeah.
Like Josh Brolin plays Thanos, and so he's like always mocapped out. Like,
yeah, I thought the mocap and the CGI for Ultron was really good.
It's great. It's great.
For how old it is, I should say.
Aaron Taylor Johnson was asked to lose weight. muscle mass, particularly because he looked too strong to portray a runner who is usually trim.
Gotcha.
On James Spader's first day on set, the cast was so impressed by his performance that they applauded and cheered for him after his first take.
James Spader is awesome.
He's-
Stargate. There's a throwback.
All right, let's see. One last one. Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor Johnson consulted each other before accepting the roles of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. The two became friends while filming Godzilla, and as soon as they found out that both had offers, they called each other to check if the other was doing it before signing on. So
That's cool.
Because if you remember, they're the leads in Godzilla 2014.
Oh, the Gareth Edwards one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yep. So they both brother and sister in this one, husband and wife in that Godzilla movie. All right, that's it for our fun facts and our trivia. Thanks so much for sticking around. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. You can follow us on our other social media platforms like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and all the other stuff, or go over to patreon.com/thecalvincam. You can join, become one of the cool members that we have, and help donate to the cause. So thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on next Monday's episode.
You can also like and subscribe on YouTube. And we'll catch you on the next Marvel Movie Mondays. Thank you, everyone.